3 shows in 24 hours is excessive. We're not likely to be very good today or fresh. But into the breach steps heroically Greg Cody of the Miami Herald.
Wow, thank you.
20 carries.
Fresh 20, just 20 carries. I want to give him 40 carries.
Yeah, I
today.
want high 30s, plus a couple of looks on passes. I want a total of between 35 and 42 touches.
Keep asking for the ball in the post. We will deliver it. Do you have any thoughts on a live stream you were not a part of last night as we were celebrating things locally and ended up blowing up in all of our faces, mine most of all?
Yeah, for sure. Leba Jinx. The first comment would be the spectacular choke job by all 3 teams, right? I don't have to go over the litany, but the Panthers blow the game with 20 seconds to play. The Marlins make Clayton McBlewett.
And Dan.
It's just ridiculous. And then the Heat, of course, lose by 100 points. So it's fun to me that you guys were celebrating the mediocrity of all 3 of those teams, really, because the Panthers are out of the playoffs. The Heat are unlikely to make the playoffs. And the Marlins, off to a good start against the 2 worst teams on the planet, are going to come back down to earth and be mediocre as always. So I just thought the whole premise of last night was kind of funny to me.
Funny?
Yeah.
Well, we were going for funny. We're often going for funny. Funny is a success.
Well, you had a perfect night then because the way the 3 teams choked, it was just hilarious.
Zaslow, do you believe that we will be carried today by Dan Le Batard and McBlewett and a couple of other puns like
he's so
like
good
that?
with names.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
Do you think because that's 2 carries right now for negative 3 yards?
Whoa, Le Batard.
You got to stay committed.
You do.
That's fine. We're gonna keep. We're
They
gonna.
got
run,
a good D tackle in the A gap though.
We're gonna run
Push
the
the
ball.
center back.
We are committed to the run. We are gonna continue.
Get him
to
on an outside zone.
Hand him the football.
Thank you. Le Batard is in the family of when I used to refer to you as Le Batardi when you were late for something.
Whoa, I didn't know where we were going with that.
He did break out Le Batardi when I was 10 minutes late
That
to
is
something
good.
one time. Le Batardi's good. Le Batard less good. McBlewett less good than that.
Well, you got to go Clayton McBlewett. You can't just go McBlewett.
He's right about that.
Yeah, thank you.
Zaslow, what are your thoughts about the 2 carries so far? What are we doing on 3rd and 13?
I'm willing to be committed to the running game.
Thank you.
This is a good start.
Purdue was a number 1 seed as
Kirk Cousins look like J.C. Penney.
Looks like it's back, Jack. It's bracket time, so make a chart. Does Jeff Van Gundy look just like the Queen of Hearts? Does Adam Silver look like a torpedo bat? Let's get Mark Sadness back on track. Looks like it's back, Jack. When the donuts are in front of you, does Andy Reid say, don't mind if I do? Adam Silver looks like a Q-tip thing, or frying a bag of onion rings. When Timmy laughs until he hacks, that's how you know that looks like his back, Jack. Let me hear you say, looks like his back, Jack. Let's keep on doing it every year. Though Adnan Burks has missed a bond, welcome to Tangier. Jeff Fisher looks like shotgunning beers at a NASCAR track. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Looks like his back, Jack.
Northwestern is gone from the tournament.
Jim Harbaugh looks like a casket salesman.
Fairleigh Dickinson, 16 seed, rep by
Mike McDaniel looked like a college student on a full-ride scholarship for esports.
What a run.
Looks like his back, Jack.
number 50.
I am fuller than Vern Fuller. 49. Where's my click, click? 48. Hey, Butterfinger. 47. Punt. 46. Scranton. 45. I'm busy in a one-arm paper hanger. 44. Georgia. Georgia. 43, I'm the kind of guy that 42, ballin' the jack. 41, hey, hey, we're the monkeys, baby. 40, thank you, Billy. 39, I love him like a pet. 38, who made it a salad? 37, we're rolling now, huh? 36, your brain beating me. 35, let's go States. 34, driver comfort is paramount. 33, dummy up, save up. 32, catch as catch can. 31, doesn't make it right. 30, so on and so forth. 29, very good. 28, the Little League theory. 27, nice hat, asshole. 26, the others, they all learn from me. 25, don't go showering to try to please me. And now, that ends the first half of the Catchphrase Countdown.
Wow.
And the second half has begun.
The Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody is the podcast. If you want updated and exclusive and before we have it catchphrases, the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody is the exclusive home of such things. But we make it slightly less exclusive when he comes in and shares some of them with us. So are we on in the podcast number 24 and number 23?
Yes, correct.
All right. So you're willing to share those here because they've already been released earlier this week?
Yeah, it's not an ideal situation, but I would do it for the show.
Okay, thank you for sharing with us 2 days later something that had been embargoed because it's proprietary and exclusive to you, and you like your best things to appear on your show, not our show.
Who wouldn't?
24.
Look at that jerk.
This is a big one.
All right, what is the context? When do you use that?
It's not something I say publicly a lot. I said it privately in my car just the other day when a big-ass pickup truck not only backed into a parking lot, but backed over the line, meaning...
So it's directed at cars usually?
This is 95% in the car. I don't think I've ever heard this outside of a car.
Are you by yourself in the car?
I am.
Or you're saying it to yourself out loud?
Yeah.
Or it can be in the passenger. Like, there are times where I'm driving him to work. Anyone that gets in my lane, look at this asshole. Look at this jerk.
Right.
He's he's mean on the road when it comes to other drivers.
I have a sort of a road rage leaning that I have to really work to contain. And when I say, look at that jerk, that's usually the fire starter that gets me very angry at some malfeasance by another driver.
So I would think that would be the pressure release, that you're releasing the valve on what is your customary rage by saying, look at that jerk, and therefore you're slightly less angry. You're getting angrier?
That's the beginning of it, but it's also...
What could be the end?
Yeah, I'm letting off steam, in effect. I don't want that other driver to think that I don't notice what he's doing that's so idiotic. So I'm saying to Christopher in the car, look at that jerk. Sometimes just look at this jerk. It can be this or that.
At the 95 Turnpike Exchange,
That's a tough spot.
You know, there's the sheep that just wait in line, and then there's the people that kind of cut in.
Yeah.
That's the like.
No, I catch someone slipping.
My dad is a sheep. He gets in the back of the line and just goes car by car. And if anybody gets in, it's look at this jerk.
No, but I also I kiss the bumper of the guy ahead of me so that I'm not the sap who you cut in front of. You know,
you're not letting me catch you slipping.
Right. You can cut behind me, because that's the other guy's responsibility.
You cleared your throat into the microphone. That is still a fine around here, so that you owe $5. I'm sorry to do that to you, but it's a universal fine at the fine bucket.
Yeah, it's a fine, and it's presented by Moneyline. Download the Moneyline app or visit moneyline.com to learn more. Moneyline, make money easy. Dad, where's your cash?
It's in my wallet.
Where's your wallet?
It's in the bag there.
Where's your bag?
Right now you want it?
Yeah, well, yeah, because we don't want to forget, and you have a habit of leaving here without paying your fines.
Habit.
That is a joke about a
6
Miami
yards.
Herald. That is a Miami Herald editor from our 80s named Hal Habib, who then became a Palm Beach Post reporter on sports, and he just made the joke Hal Habit.
He's important in my life because he is the only living witness to when I actually did kick a 50-yard field
Nobody
goal.
believes you at all, and I
Hal
will.
witnessed it.
We had him on the Greg Cody show, and he was unsure.
He
that's
said
not
it
true.
may have been 40 yards. He doesn't remember, but he's sure it wasn't 50. Hal Habit was sure. That
Liar.
He was your witness and your notary, and now you're calling him a liar.
No, I'm calling you a liar for doubting that he doubted me.
He did doubt you. He was on our show. We all listened to him. He's got 6 carries for -4 yards so
Oh,
far
no,
today.
no. He's at 7 yards a clip right now.
Thank you.
Wearing the defense down. He's going to pull away for 40.
Now,
here.
we are in the first 15 script here, so he's supposed to do well here.
I have follow-up questions on Look at This Jerk.
Or that jerk.
When you are in the car alone, is it said out loud as a catchphrase,
Yeah,
or is
that's
it
my question.
or is it
Yes.
simply thought?
Sometimes both, but generally it's said out loud. Sometimes in a murmur.
Is it ever said without being thought? Because you said sometimes both.
I mean, sometimes I think it and don't say it aloud. You know how that goes. Look at that jerk. I'm thinking to myself.
And what sometimes will follow that? Like you'll say it, but does it ever escalate?
I generally say asshole after that.
And there's always like, if the car can see him, there's a hand gesture.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a very
yeah,
dismissive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's the end of the rage. You say you're road rage adjacent. That
Right.
the worst that it's ever gotten is a wave of the hand.
Yeah, I don't instigate with a finger because I feel like this is kind of benign.
And you time the wave with when your windows are passing, right?
Oh,
so they
yeah.
can see it.
So they
I
can
think
see
so,
it.
yeah. And another common thing, particularly if the perpetrator is in front of me.
Lean back.
I'll go like this.
No, he is a big, like, I'm going to gesture to let you know that you're. He'll Matumbo finger you too.
Well, of course, because there's so much annoying to observe.
Sounds invasive.
Number 23.
It's like a packing house in here. There should be hams hanging from hooks.
Now, this proves that he's just doing this as he goes. Because if you remember, this was said a few weeks ago. On the show, he said it walking in when he was cold outside. So that just proves that he, in that moment, just inserted that into number 24.
Do you have any fear that because he's making up
Yes.
this list as he goes along, he's not going to have 23 more?
Definitely.
No, here's the thing. I'm gonna reveal something that's a little inside baseball. I counted the number ones on my list. Like and I counted 17. So there are 17 ahead on this list that are prime Wagyu beef.
17 number ones. You've just confused everybody.
Okay, there's 17 that are one quality or top 10 quality.
So you have 17 number 1 seeds in
Yes.
your 50-team tournament.
That's right. I'm like the women's NCAA. There's nothing but number 1 seeds left.
Who made it the Shallot wasn't a number 1 seed.
No, it was not, oddly enough.
An excellent list, and we encourage you to check out the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg
Thank
Cody,
you.
where
With-
he keeps you up to date on the catchphrases that are being made up as he goes along.
And much
Sometimes written down because he just thinks of one on the way in after he has said it.
Just so we're clear, there you have 5 more entries, and then there are 17
Number 1
that are
seeds.
tied for the best.
I wouldn't say tied for the best, but best quality.
What? It's
Elite.
You had 17 number 1 seeds.
Yeah, you've heard of the Elite 8? I've got the Elite 17.
You said that you have 17 number one qualities. That suggests 17 number 1 seeds. That suggests that you have 17 worthy of any one of those. If they were your last one, we would all agree and say, yes, obviously that's a number 1.
Well, the seed of the top 50 and the root methodology here was that early on, we had a list of like 75 or 80. Early on, I invited and allowed Christopher and Yeti to rank all of them with a 1, 2, or 3. 3 meaning, not very good. 1, great.
How'd you feel
2,
about that assignment?
in between.
It's one of those "What is my life" assignments.
Well, how about this for What is Your Life? Your father today comes in here, sits in the chair, and says, why is my son dressed that way?
It's a fair question.
He looks like Puka Nakua's lawyer. That is the reason that we have dressed him like that.
Okay.
I don't believe that you have seen the photos that we have used on our show of Puka Nakua's lawyer that would indicate to you how much your son looks like that.
Yeah.
We will put that on the screen now for you,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you
Okay,
can
I
you,
get
you
that.
can see how
great.
obvious a replica that is. I have wasted enough time here. Go ahead and let me have it. I understand the Marlins fan base is very mad at me for everything I did last night. I was not only Dan Le Batard Jinx, but I was also McBlewett.
The Marlins should be allowed to execute you on the pitcher's mound before the game today.
Okay,
What
so
you did is indescribable last night.
I think we can describe it. Give us a second. Yeah. And I'm going to start the bidding. Get me first, because we have some clips from last night. And the one that I would like to start with is just the start of our live stream. Thank you for everyone who joined us. It was a lot of fun, even though we're losers and all the teams not only lost, but lost and choked. And basically, we ended the live stream right before two of them choked, and the Heat choked as soon as the game started. So just a disaster of a night. And also, Zaz, two-time championship broadcaster, just saying flatly the Heat are not going to make that. They're not going to be in the playoffs.
They're absolutely not going to be in the playoffs. They're going to finish 10th. That's where they are right now. And if you finish 10th, you have to win 2 road games then to get into the playoffs. The first road game, which would likely come at Orlando, who the Heat are 0-5 against this year. So, let's have a common sense discussion here. The Heat are going to miss the playoffs, and it's especially frustrating because, yes, it's the whole, we like our team. You're going to be 10th. How do you like your team if you're 10th? But last year, it was an historically bad elimination from the playoffs, and their response is to finish 10th the next year. It's so disappointing where this team is right now.
While Giannis gives an interview in Milwaukee saying again to the local columnist that he is 100% on the idea that he might still be a Buck after this season, that he might re-sign. He's 100% on that. There's 100% possibility. It's not over is what he's saying. He's giving an interview in which he's saying this isn't over. He still cares how all of this stuff looks.
It's 100% certain that he might.
He's playing both sides brilliantly. He really is. He's
Brilliantly?
He's playing everybody. He's playing the media. He's playing everybody. Who knows what he's saying in private to his agent?
But how is this brilliant? There's damage to the Giannis brand.
I think he's brilliant because he's not outwardly alienating his Milwaukee fan base in case he winds up going back. While behind
everyone
the
knows,
scenes, he may be going, I want out of here.
But everyone knows how he really feels.
Yeah, we see past the facade of I don't want to be traded, but Sham says the only team that I want to be traded because they met me over in Greece was the Knicks, and all these different things. You're playing with our emotions. We know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
You want to be the guy that has no ego. You want to be Mr. Humble, but on the other side, you're one of the best players in the world, and you're going to have the ego of I want to go be a champion somewhere else. Just say it. Just say it. Come out and say it.
What can possibly change over the summer or even into next season? The Bucks still don't have the assets to drastically improve the teams that Giannis is happy. There isn't a whole lot of precedence for a player making a mess and then the team actually ends up fixing everything and the player's happy. The only one I could possibly think of was Kobe Bryant, all right? He created a mess, the team ended up fixing it, and, away we go. He finishes his career there. Nothing's going to change with Giannis. They're definitely going to trade him this summer.
I want to put, though, in front of Greg Cody some of the things from last night, and I would like for you to tell me which of these things you believe to be the funniest. Now, we started the live stream last night with me making just a truly brutal mistake. Just to start the festivities on the evening, watch what happens here. And festivities they are. We will have a number of local people here that you care about to celebrate what's happening. The Marlins are starting right now, and there it is. The 7 infielder trick works, where you just put an infielder right behind second base.
That's for highlights from the last game.
That's a replay. We're playing the Reds.
Okay, my bad.
That was the last out.
No, let's keep making fun of Chris, though.
I did think that was the first
pitch.
It's
a day game
complete
from last
game.
week.
Sandy.
Wait a minute,
Chicago White Sox.
I can't tell
the sun is out.
I can't tell that it was a day game from the angle that they were
Sandy
showing
was on
there.
the bump.
Okay, so this is real. This is live right here, and Sandy is back on the bump here, and I will not be fooled again. We have that for your perusal, but I think we have 4 better than that, and we will see how Greg Cody votes on this one. My father came in yesterday. Jeremy was the ham and cheese in-stadium announcer, and they decided to play a cup game. Is the New York game called 3-Card Monte? Is the shell game is called 3-Card Monte? Here is the cup game, but we've made a fatal flaw in its execution.
So, Poppy will be shuffling these cups. Poppy, can you show us where the ball is?
Here's the big bowl.
Okay. There's the ball.
Number 2.
All right, are you ready to shuffle these around?
I never lose this.
Shuffle.
Where do we think the ball is, Frankie?
Take it away.
He did it so fast. Let me help.
It's
Hey,
the
fans,
three.
where
It's
do
the-
we think the ball is?
2. You said 2.
It's clearly and
No, you
obviously
think it's 2?
three.
I think it's 2.
2? Is it 2?
That's incorrectly played. Yeah, so we didn't play that game right. We put the number on the cup.
Yeah, that's
You're
sort
never
of
miss your
self-defeating.
shot, golf, Beanie.
Yeah, that's
What an opportunity
and also look at that
for
flea
joy
market
at the
mascot in the
ballpark.
background, Dan Hippo. Is that Dwork? So we've got Jorge Sedano about 10 minutes into the conversation. He realizes something that Greg Cody did not realize. 10 minutes into the conversation, Jorge Sedano makes an observation about your son.
That's a good example of the Marlins. They won't play a guy who's hit 3 home runs this season. It's like he's got the hot bat, but still sat 2 games in a row because it's a lefty.
Wait, is Chris dressed like Puka Nakua's attorney?
That's right.
Wow.
Attaboy.
Good
job,
LA guy
George.
right there.
Good job, George. Would have thought Bud Adams, but you nailed it.
What? That is just tremendous.
He loves it.
That Sedano noticed that.
Nailed it.
But it took him 10 minutes until we were
He was trying to find it. He's like, where have I seen that
He works
before?
in L.A. He's been talking plenty of Puka Nakua.
You realizing that 10 minutes in because he's been there, he's been staring at
No, but
you.
I hadn't seen him. I hadn't seen him yet until then. I didn't realize what I saw him briefly. I didn't notice him until then.
This right here is magic. My father, this might not be shocking to any of you, my father doesn't actually know the words to take me out to the ball game, but he thinks he does. And so stuff like this ends up happening. Poppy, what do you remember about that experience at
Lay out for the song.
Reading the lines. I was reading the lines and I got confused. It's the wrong one. Ball game. Take me out to the park. Buy me some peanuts and crackers, yeah. I don't want to be late for the game.
It's an updated version.
It's the remix.
Clear out at the old ballpark. Wow.
So good, man.
And then the reason that lefty Jeremy Taché thinks the Marlins should have a promotion, I believe they'd sell out for this, of executing me live on the mound tonight because of the number of ways that I jinxed this game. This is how my evening ended. Bases loaded with 1 out and no outs doesn't mean anything anymore because there's so many strikeouts.
Cue the grand slam.
All the time.
This guy.
All the time, this game goes into the bottom of the 10th inning with the Marlins down a run and a runner on second base. All the time. This ends in a,
Oh, shit.
There's no way. There's no way.
Dan.
I hate you.
What a night.
What was the funniest thing from among those things, Greg? Which did you like the best?
I liked all of them. I'm always a fan of your dad's, and I think him botching the words
So good.
of one of the most well-known songs in American sports was number 1 for
Yeah,
me.
this was the best part.
Buy me some peanuts and crackers, yeah. I don't want to be late for the game.
Well, what is it he's doing with his voice? I don't want to.
That's the inner monologue microphone. He was speaking at the wrong
Oh,
microphone. Greg, why don't
I
you...
wasn't here. I don't know.
Greg, we've been doing it here with you several months now.
He was possessed by a demon midway.
That's what it sounded like. That's part of the quality of why I voted that song number 1.
I can't get over it.
He became Andre the Giant in Princess Bride.
Buy me some peanuts and crackers, yeah. I don't want to be late.
That's
for
exactly
the
what it sounds
That
like.
is such a good shout by Mike.
That's exactly it.
Anybody want a peanut?
Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
Put it on the poll, please. Could you hear the pituitary problem in Andre the Giant's voice?
I don't want to be late for the game.
Because that is kind of what the lyric says.
No, it's...
Like, that is the gist of what, like, the song is saying.
Root for the team playing at home.
I don't think what he's saying is I don't want to be late to the game. I think the general spirit of take me out to the ball game is that I don't ever want to leave. Like, it goes without saying that you don't want to be late for the game. Like, that's
involves being at the game. I don't know.
His version. Some pecans and potato chips.
I thought you were going to go tater tots there.
I don't care if you just leave me here.
We can do different versions of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I think my favorite part about him getting that wrong, though, and I'd like to play the entirety of the thing again, is we've already set it all up. All you got to do, Dad, is it's called Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And then he lands the dismount with the ballpark. Poppy, what do you remember about that experience?
Lay out for the song.
Reading the lines. I was reading the lines and I got confused. That's the wrong one. Ball game. Take me out to the park. Buy me some peanuts and crackers, yeah. I don't want to be late for the game.
It's an updated version.
It's the remix.
Clear out at the old bar. Wow. That was a long time ago.
It was a long
version.
time ago. My father actually did this at a Marlins game many years ago. You will see the teeming crowd that gathered for this promotion. Let's see if he gets the words right here. I have not watched this or seen it in a long time. Keep an eye on his lips here, Zaslow, and tell me if at any point he's faking it or if in this particular version, because I don't remember if he got the words right here, he would have no reason to have memorized the song. Maybe he was reading it off the Jumbotron if he got the words right. Let's see what we've got here.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and crackers, yeah. I don't care if I ever get back the mirror. Boo 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 for the
Did pretty good there.
Yeah, nice crowd, too.
Did pretty good.
Like I think there was 4 routes.
There had to be 5,000 people there.
Can you guys get me, please, the sound of Colorado Rocky Troy Wilson talking about
Johnston.
I'm sorry, Troy
Shows
Johnston.
how much we should take his comments seriously.
Let's see what Troy Johnston,
including yours.
Let's see what Troy Johnston has to. Johnston or Johnson?
Johnston.
He played for the Marlins for several games. Let's
44
hear
games.
What
And he plays for the Rockies now, and the Rockies were in town last week.
So coming from the Miami Marlins, when I walk around Miami, I never saw a Miami Marlins jersey. I never saw a Miami Marlins hat. I saw nothing of the sort. When I'm walking around downtown Denver, they are really excited about the Rockies. They want the Rockies to be good. This is a sports town. We are trying to put a good product on the field. I think Paul's done a great job of that. I've never seen so many supporters of one team that I've actually been a part of and that I've been on. So this city and this team wants to win, and we're going to try to put the best product every night and do our best to win.
Dork.
I mean, it's easy taking a shot at the Marlins, but, dude, you play for Colorado. You had the worst record in a century last year.
But he sees a lot of people around town walking.
They've lost 100 games 3 years in a row.
And this guy's saying, we're a great team. We want to win. Our fans are terrific. Bullshit. It's ridiculous.
Some context here. He does have an axe to grind against the Miami Marlins. He was in their minor league system for a very long time. He thought he should have been called up way sooner than he actually was. The Rockies have given him a chance, and like that clip right there is a pretty prime example of a dude sounding a little bitter and taking some easy shots.
Oh, he's angry, but it is funny the lack of self-awareness and Greg Cody immediately turning on him when we played the clip because you were making fun of the crowd. Like, you were making fun of the crowd, and I just played the clip to reinforce what you'd already said, and then you immediately turned on him, your ally, who supported what you said and said that he's a jerk. Did you just call him an asshole?
I may have. Yeah,
I called him a dork.
What he said was assholish. But no, I preface it by saying he's taking an easy shot. The Marlins are the easiest team in baseball to make fun of, and I do it all the time because of their crowds and because they have the cheapest owner in the game. But if you're going to play for the Colorado Rockies and brag about the state of that franchise compared to anybody.
Truly one of the awful franchises.
Yeah, you have nothing to stand on.
Oh, but he's not wrong that they support their team. They're better than we support ours. You say they have nothing to. What do you mean? They do better attendance, and there is regional pride in that baseball team that you do see worn in the community. What he's saying is not inaccurate.
Well, but it's unfounded pride is what I'm saying. If I'm playing for the Colorado Rockies, I might brag about the attendance with the caveat, I can't believe that many fans come out to see the product we're putting on the field. That's what he should have said.
Again, though, where's the inaccuracy in what he said? He is indeed, you can hear the bitterness in his voice. In fact, it is odd to hear a baseball player talk this way because baseball players just don't do very much of this.
He's a new player on the Rockies. Local beat writers and radio guys, they love hearing that stuff. The fans love hearing that stuff, too. He could have gotten that message out without punching down towards the Miami Marlins. He almost goes out of his way to take a shot at the Miami Marlins.
Yeah, and it's coming from someone who, as you would expect at his age, who has zero context, who does not know any of the history of the Marlins and the fan base.
Or
and
really
the
other
lack
fan bases, because he's played his entire career in the minors. I'm sure the Rockies seem like real big time because they have a downtown stadium, Zaz, and a lot of fans walk to the game over there. I've never seen a dude that looks like that walking around Little Havana.
The thing is, if you play for the Rockies or the Wizards or the New York Jets, it's fine to brag about how many jerseys you see around town, but you're still playing for bad franchises that lose continuously.
The Rockies are not punching down. This is not the Rockies punching down. They're at the bottom. This isn't even the Rockies.
Level punch.
This is not a level punch.
We're down there too, Dan.
They're taking an easy shot.
One franchise has won 2 championships. The other franchise has never won anything or played any meaningful games anyone remembers.
I guess I'm framing it in the context of the discussion he's trying to have, which is better fandom. And, guys, we got to be honest about this. Right now, it's the Marlins and Rays in terms of people coming out to the ballpark. It's an easy argument, and the Rockies do draw better than the Marlins. So in that respect, it is punching down.
They draw better while performing a good deal worse.
Right.
Can you give me, please, the number of times the Rockies have made the playoffs since entering the league in 1993?
Right.
5.
We're proving his point, though.
5 times.
By saying, like, they don't have the on-field success, and yet the fans will come on out. You had Sandy on the bump, and I counted 37 people in right field.
Let's talk about what happened last night for a second.
Be rude. It was 3,700.
Let's talk about the removal of Sandy from that game because during the live stream last night, David Sampson was lamenting some of the computerization of baseball that leads to now so many specialists all over the place that the Marlins can have a guy hit a couple of home runs and then not play him in the next game because they're doing so many different matchups. And the amount of science around every pitch in that sport now, where the third and fourth time through a lineup, they're yanking pitchers because all of the arithmetic shows that when a pitcher has faced a lineup 2, 3, and 4 times, no matter who the pitcher is, things get vastly more perilous. And so baseball has figured out, get me a fresh arm that's still throwing 100 as opposed to the live arm starter who's at 91 pitches. It's one of the reasons that the complete game has largely died in baseball. But Sandy threw one last game and had the kind of stuff in this one to throw another one. He was at 90-plus pitches with 1 out in the 9th inning. He had just walked a man after a double, and they came and got him. And to my way of thinking, a pitcher of Sandy's excellence on this particular streak gets to decide whether he wants to be in that game or not at the end. You should not take that baseball from that kind of excellence. There aren't very many guys I would give that right in baseball, but if Scherzer's allowed to do it in the World Series, when Scherzer is at 40 years old and had an ERA of 5 for 2 seasons? If Scherzer's allowed to have the resume, Sandy in that spot with this nowhere team where he's the only excellent thing and you have to let him carry you the furthest. To me, I don't see what it is that anybody in the sport would object to if Sandy had been left in that game.
100%. And we're not playing the result here. I said, and I think many fans did, when you saw McCullough going to the mound to take him out at that time, you're immediately saying, what? That's so stupid. I hate it when you're a slave to analytics. You got to have a feel for the game. You got to have a respect and a faith in your guy. Sandy Alcantara, the way he's played in his first 3 starts is illuminating. It's by far the best thing about this early Marlins season. And to take him out, it wasn't just that the move proved terrible and exploded in their faces. At the time, it was just terrible.
You can make the argument, though, that the Marlins have never had anybody better. Maybe Cabrera, but never had anybody better than this person. Better at doing anything than this person.
Miguel Cabrera.
I said that, but he's
saying he's better.
Also,
no, I'm just saying
Sustained.
he's better.
I mentioned
Not in the
that.
conversation. Better.
Okay.
Sustained.
Okay.
It's been a long day, Dan. It's been a long day.
You put him in the. You said in the conversation.
Just look at that face.
I said maybe Cabrera. Yes.
It's not maybe. It's definitely.
Okay.
For what it's worth, Sandy won a Cy Young. Miguel Cabrera never finished higher than 5th in his time with the Marlins in terms of MVP.
Triple crown.
Okay. I'm going to mention.
Not with
I'm
the
going to
Marlins.
mention Stanton as well, but
He did win an MVP with the Marlins.
yes.
The place that I have a problem with it last night, and I'm for analytics. I am. But it can't be the be-all, end-all. There does, especially in baseball, I think there needs to be a little bit of a feel for the game, a feel for the team. You could say whatever you want about Jack McKeon and the bird seeds, all right, sitting on his chest in the dugout, but Jack McKeon felt that Josh Beckett's going to be okay on short rest in Yankee Stadium in Game 6. And guess what? He pitched one of the greatest games in the history of the World Series, and the Marlins won the World Series. If he went with analytics there, Josh Beckett would not have started that game. But especially last night when, and I understand, 4 times through the lineup and the averages go up. Okay, the part that I have a problem with that kind of stat is, are we taking into account the analytics for 4 times through the lineup when it's the ace on the mound? Because I'm pretty sure those numbers are all encompassing for all starting pitchers. But how about if we're talking about one of the best 5 pitchers in all of baseball? What are the numbers then through the 4th time
Let's
in the
go
lineup?
through some of Tommy Hutton's in his final season. Tommy Hutton is always a good voice for the fan. Tommy Hutton can get emotional, can get the chapped ass. Tommy Hutton, let me hear Tommy Hutton on this decision as it's happening.
I know there are always questions about, okay, how you going to handle a pitcher. And Clayton's been asked this. I heard him ask this on a radio show. Well, what about September? If, how are you going to handle him when September? You know what? 8 or 10 more pitches right now to get out of this game isn't going to bother Sandy Alcantara in September at all.
See, he's getting pissed off there, and now he's elevating. He's finding the words as he gets pissed off.
Too many bad things happened after Sandy came out of the game. When you take a guy out, you got to make sure the guy you bring in has better stuff, or you have more confidence in him than the guy that's out there presently.
Well, then you'll never take Sandy out. By that logic.
But like what was I saying last night? You have the runners now, 1st and 2nd. Who would you rather have on the mound? Sandy Alcantara or anybody in your bullpen? How is the answer not Sandy Alcantara?
No, Sandy or anybody in the history of your franchise.
How can the answer not be Sandy Alcantara?
It's Sandy at 95 pitches. Like there
he
is
gave
a
up
difference.
1 hit in the inning. 1 hit. You give up 1 hit in a game that you're pitching a shutout for, the 3rd consecutive game because you gave up a hit? All of a sudden we're in trouble here? Have a feel for your team.
I would have kept Sandy in 2, but that's mostly because I hate giving a reliever an inning with runners on base. Either make that choice before the inning, which has nothing to do with the amount of pitches that you've thrown. If the premise is you're going the 4th time through the order and there's the potential to face Sal Stewart. Sal Stewart has the 4th highest OPS in the National League. The guy rakes.
Local kid, by the way.
Yeah.
I know his brother.
Really good.
He's
really
beast
good
too.
player.
Hell
Really
of a
good
shooter,
player.
by the way. Good shooter.
And playing at home. Like playing at home in front of his, home crowd, whatever. He'd only had one hit earlier in the game. I can understand the logic of, hey, we're going to face this team the fourth time through the order. Every single pitcher, no matter how great they are, fourth time through, if you're not a guy with a ton of strikeout stuff, which isn't Sandy's game. He's basically like when he's at his peak, Greg Maddux, but he throws 100 as opposed to, peppering at 93, 94. That's what makes him so elite. But being in that situation, you do have to have the feel to know where to go. And I understand Anthony Bender against a right-handed hitter. It makes sense logically. But to not ask Sandy, which is what he advocated for, which is if I'm pitching that well, you got to ask me before you take me out of that game. I can completely understand where Sandy's at. And every fan, every person in the organization would have been okay if you go down with the ship with Sandy.
If they don't win, that's less than desirable.
Norm Macdonald passed away. It was a surprise to many. He had kept his illness a secret for 9 years. And he was one of our favorite celebrity prognosticators because he did awkward comedy, uncomfortable comedy so very well. He would insult people to their face. There has not been and will never be a greater ESPYs than Norm Macdonald doing the monologue and actually cutting through all the mythological fame bullshit and actually going after people, going after the big, powerful celebrities in a way that the audience loved and ESPN immediately ended and regretted and got him out of there, never to host it again. But he loved awkward. He was so good at awkward. And this is the thing that always impresses me, Stugotz, because the level of discerning among stand-up comics who are great is the highest form of critique or judgment, I think, in entertainment. And when they say someone's a good comedian, that person's a good comedian. Norm Macdonald is somebody who's getting reverence today from a lot of people, but other comedians will tell you what he did was really brilliant, was genius. We had our experience with him because he would tell these long, sprawling stories, and he told, most famously, a bad beat story that was just a killer because he was a gambler, but he was a bad gambler. And one of the reasons we wanted him as celebrity prognosticator is because he cared about it, but he was kind of a loser. And what says loser more than this bad beat?
One time I had a massive bet down. It was my last bet. I just said, I'll just bet all this. And then I got two aces. And and then I was like, I don't know if I have enough money, but can I get some credit, like from the casino to...
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
David Sampson said on Nothing Personal, and he's right about this, the Marlins will trade Sandy this season. That's a thing that's going to end up happening, and they're going to get something good for him, and it's going to be incredibly sad when that happens. Nick Wright is with us. He's the host of FS1's First Things First. What's Right with Nick Wright is the name of the podcast. And I can tell by looking at his face that he's in a demanding mood today. Can you see that? Can you look in his face? You can see that he's feeling demanding right now.
A lot to discuss.
That's right. What is on your list of demands?
Should I start with the shipping container?
Custodians.
The captain of the shipping container?
Custodians.
I demand Mike Ryan lay down his sword and say, I know it seemed hyperbolic, but when we see fresh off, being taken off the shelf, dusting the cobwebs off, LeBron joined Shea and Joker as the only guys all year to put up a 30 and 15, that maybe, just maybe, my LeBron can be an all-star as long as he wants to be was correct, and you need to lay down your sword, my friend. I demand either an apology or you to just say, Nick, you were right. I shouldn't have fought this war.
Nick, when it comes to LeBron at age 41, you were mostly right. Outside of the 2 months that he was out.
Well, he said he'll be an all-star at 50 is what he said.
I said he could be an all-star at 50. I said he could easily play the Jason Kidd Mavericks role, and then somebody was like, yeah, but what does that mean? And then you're like, oh, wait, Jason Kidd was an all-star on the Mavericks, and maybe I undershot it. Because if after he can go from the best Swiss Army knife in the league to immediately, neck and neck with Shea and Joker for best offensive initiators out of nowhere, maybe I've undersold it. I just know that we are likely, sadly, not going to get an official verdict on this because it is unlikely LeBron plays another 9 years. So this is going to be a hypothetical debate for the entirety of it. So we're going to need, we're going to need people's judgment calls to decide who was right and who was wrong. And I'm simply saying right now, I have a 7-furlong lead in the race. That's all I'm saying.
You are doing pretty well at age 41. However, this was a discussion to the age of 50, and I think calling it after one season, I don't think anybody anticipated the wheels falling off at 41, but you're looking good. 9 more years to go.
You don't think anybody anticipated the wheels falling off at 41? Your fearless leader was calling the wheels falling off at 33.
Well, he got voted into the All-Star game.
All right. So I'm not going to get that demand. That demand's not going to be met.
You're trending in the right direction.
Thank you. Appreciate
that.
I
will gladly admit that I'm wrong. I think it's foolish to call this race after 1 year when we were talking about a 9-year contest.
I'm not calling the race. I'm simply saying that it will be less embarrassing for you the earlier you admit defeat.
You're not calling the race. You're just simply demanding an apology year one into a 9-year project.
That's right. That is correct.
What other demands do you have on your demanding face?
I have a demand of Adam Silver. And this is the following sentence is something I never thought I would utter about any human being in any circumstance whatsoever. But I think Adam Silver needs to take a page out of Donald Trump's book. Just make an executive order. Adam Silver today should come out and levy a $50 million fine against the Kings and say, fight me in court. And today say, by the way, this year, we'll address it in the offseason, but this year and this year only until we address it in the offseason, 65-game rules off. Because what's about to happen is the Spurs are going to be locked into the 2 seed in about 36 hours. They're going to have no reason whatsoever to play Wemby through his bruised ribs. And they're going to have this outrageous choice to make of, do we have Wemby hobble out there for 20 minutes so he can win Defensive Player of the Year and show up on MVP ballots and be first team All-NBA, or do we forfeit that? Luka's got to appeal about, hey, I had a kid born halfway around the world. All of it. And that would, listen, fining the Kings for what they did last night, certainly the owners would be upset. The 65-game thing, absolutely no one would be upset. But Adam Silver, I think, is a little too lawyerly. And so that's not really the way he does business. But the tanking is as bad as ever. The players are getting banged up as much as ever. And we're about to have a farce of an All-NBA ballot, Defensive Player of the Year ballot, MVP ballot, if these guys aren't eligible. I don't know why Adam Silver doesn't just come out and say, this year it's off.
Because he's a nothing.
And if you think, what?
Because he's a nothing, Adam Silver. Oh. He does nothing. What does he do, Nick? I'm agreeing with you. You're right. He does nothing.
It's a little, calling him a nothing is maybe a little stretch. I'm fine with saying LeBron be an all-star at 50. Calling the commissioner of the NBA a nothing is maybe a bridge too far for your old buddy Nick Wright. But I do think he does not appear to be a wartime consigliere, and I'm not sure if he recognizes right now the NBA needs that. And the Wemby thing is, like, what is I care greatly and deeply about the history of this league and about going back and making lists and all of these things. And this season is going to be a joke in the record books if Luka and Wemby and Cade Cunningham's seasons, are basically vacated from the year. It'll be a joke.
Again, Nick, I agree with pretty much everything you're saying, but wasn't the 65-game rule collectively bargained? Like, the players didn't.
No, that's what I'm saying. Correct. The players are to blame for this existing as well, but the players by edict can't get rid of it. And so that's why I'm saying, if I were advising Adam Silver, I would tell him, hold a press conference and say, guys, when the media gets their ballots, we're putting everyone on. And if folks want to file a grievance or sue me, we'll deal with that, over the course of the next few months. Obviously, this has been a misstep, and in the offseason, we will collectively bargain a solution. But in the meantime, I am simply saying everybody's eligible. Fight me in court about it, because this is something I don't think you would be fought in court about. I guess maybe if there's a player who otherwise is going to make All-NBA if not enough guys are eligible and then doesn't, and therefore his contract doesn't boost, maybe that's theoretical, does Jalen Johnson get screwed by this? No, he'd be All-NBA either way. But you had Stephon Castle. Does he get screwed by this? Maybe. But I think it would be universally popular. But yes, you're right, Zaz. The players are to blame in part for this existing, but they can't fix it the way I think Adam can. And I'm really curious what the Spurs do, because Wemby lectured us about ethical basketball and about playing the right way, but he also let us know how much he wants the MVP. Now, he also said defense is half the game, and the greatest offensive player in the league showed him it's actually not. I can put 40 on you whenever I want, because that's how basketball is played, young man. And then he said, there's more to offense than scoring, but then in going for the MVP, he upped his scoring because, of course, scoring's the most important thing in the league. But with all that said, he has no reason to play again this year because he's banged up and they can win the championship. But if he doesn't play again this year, Chet Holmgren's going to win the most fraudulent Defensive Player of the Year award I've ever seen. Well, except for the year LeBron got screwed. Marc Gasol wasn't even first-team all-defense. Give me a break.
Nick, are you speaking fancifully? Because everybody hates the 65 rule, or should. But does Adam Silver pragmatically have the executive power to just announce that it's no longer existing?
Well, he's saying it would end up in court, and I wanted to ask Nick a form of the question of if he has any historical precedent for a commissioner going through this particular spin cycle where it seemed impossible to replace David Stern. He comes out by getting rid of Donald Sterling. Everyone thinks he's really in charge, and since then he's proven to lose a lot in terms of public belief. So answer his question, but combine it with the historical precedent that you have for a commissioner taking this path from, I thought he was good, to, he's not very good.
Well, so let me do it in reverse order. It feels like it's almost the opposite path Goodell has taken. Mm-hmm. Goodell took over for Tagliabue, and it was just controversy after controversy. He was, so unpopular that booing him at the draft became, a tradition. And now the NFL is in seemingly such a healthy financial and PR place that Goodell almost has to bait the crowd into booing him, because everybody, whatever, fair or not, everybody seems to think, must be doing a pretty good job. League's more profitable than ever, more popular than ever. His, Q rating, if you will, has gone in the opposite direction of Adam Silver, who took over for Stern, it was a little too many edicts, a little too much of dictatorial. And listen, Silver is a lawyer. And I do think Silver's a good guy. And here's one of the things that I think Silver has working in his favor. Even the biggest Adam Silver critics, I don't believe he's unethical. Now, listen, I'm not being a smartass here. Maybe Pablo and the aspiration story has made some people feel, put that into question. I don't put Adam Silver's ethics into question. And I think if he's simply, Greg, you're right in asking the question, can he do this? But that's almost why I mentioned, somewhat tongue-in-cheek, the Trump piece of it. Because what we have learned on things that really, actually, the U.S. government and checks and balances is, for certain things, you can do whatever you say you can do. And I just don't, I think if Adam Silver came out and said, hey, the voters are getting ballots, they are electronic ballots, the person that's sending them out is putting every single player in the league's name on that ballot, or we're lowering the 65 games to 60 for this year for extreme, act of God, extreme extenuating circumstances. All those names are showing up on ballots. Voters are going to vote. We're going to have an award ceremony. I'm going to hand out trophies. There's going to be on NBA.com a first team, second team, third team All-NBA. And if in 5 months in court, all of a sudden they're saying, I can't. All right, well, it already happened. And so I don't think there would be massive pushback about that. I don't know who the aggrieved parties of seeing Cade Cunningham and Wemby and Luka get their just rewards for this season.
Just desserts, deserved rewards. It doesn't
whatever.
matter.
Thank you, Dan.
The crew here is not listening to you, and I'm pretty sure I know why. Is the crew laughing? The custodians, are they laughing and not listening to anything Nick Wright says? Because Greg Cody, when asked to speak in front of a microphone, does so very far away from the microphone. But when breathing with giant nostrils into the microphone during Nick Wright's segment,
a windstorm.
You can hear a sailboat sailing through. They're just his nostrils. You can hear the sailboat sailing through Nick Wright's thoughts in a turbulent sea.
Do you want me way back here, or do you want me
no,
way
I'd
up
like
here?
you to talk into the microphone and breathe loudly away from the microphone when Nick Wright is doing his soliloquy.
Right. Unlike yourself, I'm not perfect.
I got to give Nick credit for powering through that the entire time.
Well, but I'm not being perfect. I'm laughing that they're laughing at being distracted at not listening to Nick Wright because the sound of your breath is that loud.
The honored guest didn't have a problem with it, did not hear my nostrils.
The whole crew is laughing back there.
See?
Well,
But
you're too in love with the sound of your own voice to hear anything that's happening while you're talking.
Oh, wow. I was trying to defend my guy, Greg Cody.
Thank you.
Who, by the way, has never looked better. And also, as a guy who, for all I know, maybe I breathe loudly out of my nose and I've just become deaf to it as a self-defense mechanism. So maybe I'm, deaf or sound blind. Sound blind? The word is deaf.
You got it. Sound blind. That's what we call it now.
I like sound blind. Yeah, I like that.
I was thinking nose blind, but then I was like, no, it's auditory. Jeez Louise.
Right.
Man. I don't know what's wrong with me. Sorry about that.
Yeah, the alternative to breathing is not a good situation, by the way.
That's right. Listen, I'm with you, Greg.
Thank
you. It's going to be hard for me to criticize Greg Cody.
Thank you.
Any other demands here? Do you have any others before?
No, I kind of weaved in my Wemby stuff. There was a brief period of time, and we discussed this last time I was on, when the media was so enraptured by Victor Wembanyama, mostly understandably, that we started lying about what the NBA is and what the NBA has always been. We created something called roll gravity to explain why a player who averages 24 points and 4 assists is actually a wildly impactful offensive player. And we pretended that being the best defensive player in the league is
just as valuable as being the best offensive player in the league. When literally dating back to Wilt versus Russell, we have had proof of concept every single era of this great sport that if the best offensive player in the sport plays the best defensive player in the sport, the best offensive player in the sport will still get his. Wilt Chamberlain for his career averaged 30 points and 23 rebounds, and Wilt Chamberlain in 144 games against Bill Russell averaged 30 points and 26 rebounds. And yet, and so I thought this weekend, Joker reminding everyone, this 8-foot-tall alien that's going to change the game and that all of this, yeah, I can still get a bucket whenever I want. And Joker making a point the last 2 years, post Wemby's rookie year, they've played 3 times, and Joker averages, and he's not like, doesn't always look for a shot, but against Wemby, he averages 41 points per game. It is a reminder that great offense on an individual level is always more valuable than great defense, and that's why the MVP voting goes to the greatest offensive players in the sport. It's probably going to be Shea this year, but Joker threw his hat in the ring pretty strongly.
We've got 5 minutes left, and there are a number of things that I want to get to with you. This is a tweet from Tim Reynolds. It was 4 days ago, and even though Mike Ryan has made him excommunicado, no longer friends, there have been 2 days in NBA history spanning 80 years where at least 9 games were played with an average margin of victory being at least 24 points. Only 2 such days in 80 years. One was yesterday. The other was Sunday. What is happening at the end of the season is the tires falling off of this league because the games are crap. There are a couple. Every once in a while, there's an Atlanta playing against New York, but there are a lot of bad basketball teams playing basketball very poorly.
Well, and your guys' pal, Tom Haberstroh, this stat is now a little outdated, but he wrote an article a week or so ago separating the league from teams that are trying and tankers and called it League A and League B, and said that when League B plays League A in their last 179 games, they were 12-167. And that again circles back, I think, to some of the Adam Silver stuff, which is, sadly, this is one of the 3 biggest stories of this NBA season are the ascent of Wemby, an all-time MVP race, and this disgrace of a third of the league actively not trying to win. You can rank them however you want, and I think the only way, I know they're like, hey, we're going to flatten the odds, we're going to do this, all of these very complex or convoluted ways to fix the lottery. But the other way, the more direct way in the meantime, is to harshly and severely financially punish ownership. And I thought what the Kings did last night, I've never seen anything like it. I didn't understand it. Like, you're fouling Seth Curry. We used to always say the way tanking worked was teams could tank, but once the game started, players would try to win. You could just put out bad players and bad lineups, all those things. That ain't the case anymore. It's actively making sure at the end of these games you lose, and that is obviously untenable for a professional league.
I'm going to try this again less subtly. We have now 1 minute left and a number of things that I want to get to with you.
Oh,
your best thoughts on Michael Malone.
Go 5 extra minutes. Go into overtime.
Your best thoughts on Michael Malone, please.
I think that the best college jobs are better than the best NBA jobs at this point. And it seems he was going to get an NBA job, but a long-time NBA coach now is 5 years. You win a championship, you get popped. So I think you'd rather go to college. That quick enough for you?
Yeah, and I have a follow-up, though. Why would there not be any evolution that would consider that whatever his skill set in getting ready, Aaron Gordon ready for whatever the tendencies are of the night, aren't the skill sets that he needs to run a college program in an NIL era?
Well, listen, I'm not sure that I think he is obviously a great basketball coach. Like, he's just great at getting players to play their best and motivating people. And I think the NIL era might make those skills more transferable because it's less about being the slick recruiter and more about the GM or the brand of your school acquires the talent and you get the most out of them.
Let me get to your feud with Senor Tilt. When you were on with us the last couple of times, you have made a show of making sure that this guy was buried under You Take His Money and everyone sees him embarrassed publicly as a poker player. He says, I spend zero time thinking about people like Nick Wright. I didn't know who he was until Buffalo Hanks explained it to me, but he clearly spends a lot of time thinking about and rambling about me. His behavior is childish and insecure, and when you take one glance at him, it makes sense. He's a little dweeb, short, ugly AF, mediocre intelligence at best, and zero aura. Someone told me he made his career glazing LeBron.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for bringing that to the audience's attention, because I have one final demand. Because I'm not short. I'm 6'1" on the nose. And that's just a matter of record and matter of... I suppose everything else he said there is a matter of opinion and subject for debate. I like to think, certainly I don't have mediocre intelligence. And is aura binary? Like you have it, you either have it or you don't? Or is it a sliding scale? Because I like to think I have some aura. I'm not certain on that. I do know there's a 45-year-old man who also, in a follow-up tweet, challenged me to a cage fight, which I will, politely decline. But can I get Mike Ryan and Le Batard and the folks in there Chris Cody, who I've actually spent time with in person, to at least you look great, Chris. Oh my goodness. To at least verify that I'm not, that I'm not short.
Not short.
Everything. Thank you.
Not at all.
I feel like there's a defamation suit.
And you have an aura.
And this whole. I do?
Yes.
Just one.
Yeah, but you can lose aura, but you can also gain it by aura farming. So, it's a sliding scale.
If it is a sliding scale, he cannot be accused of having no aura. Aura is a manila folder. It's something that doesn't have... No aura is not having any personality. That can't be said.
We are the authority on this.
That's right.
Thank you.
I'm glad
I just wanted you guys to know that entire beef started on this show. It didn't exist prior to that. But I was in it. It was when I was in the airport, and you guys thought I was in the bathroom, and I was just doing what I'm always doing, tapped it. See, now that
this is to prove your height.
This is proof of your height. This is
to help.
This is to help you.
I thought this was to prove the ugly AF.
No, this is that you're 6'1". This is 6'1".
Some aura there.
Someone's got aura there.
Right.
A lot of
We got to
aura.
see the feet, though. He might be standing on something. We got to see the feet.
I'm not saying. Hey, man.
He's not short.
Thank you.
I've never seen him in person. I don't know.
He's not Portnoy standing on his tippy toes for pictures.
I don't see the feet there.
You happy, Dan? You got him in a fight with Senor Tilt. That's
He
another
got
job
him.
well
He
done.
got him in a fight with Senor Tilt.
No, I did it, but I did it, to serve your great audience. Oh, can I tell you one other thing, and then I will go? Your guys' show, very popular. I spent a few days in the Bahamas for my daughter's spring break. Your guys' show, very popular there. Of the not the tourists, the Bahamians, the people working at the airport and the resort or whatever it is. A lot of love you on Le Batard. So shout out to you guys for having that area of the world really on lockdown. I like that.
He is the host of
Baja Mar.
We got a couple looks at the Baja Mar when I went.
He's the host of...
It's gorgeous. And I'll stay there. If you ever want to go, Tony, I think I'm going to have free rooms for a bit because funny fact about casinos, if you're first time gambling with them, you leave enough money there, they'll invite you back forever. So, yeah, Tony, maybe you and me spend a weekend down there, buddy.
I don't care what he's the host of. See you later, Nick.
Bye. See ya.
I saw Chris Cody searching the sound system to find sound of the nostrils. It sounds blind. It's sounds of the nostrils of Greg Cody breathing, and he doesn't feel confident that the sound is good enough. But I will tell you,
won't do it justice because there were some good ones.
Oh, but yet it's not
It might.
recorded.
I wasn't
It's
able-
not recorded. Imagine that.
It's hard for me to preview stuff with like the show.
all right,
going
let's
on.
try it. Now we have to try it. He doesn't have a great deal of confidence in this, but let's listen to the Nick Wright sound and see if Greg Cody's giant nostrils are distracting and disorienting.
You hear Nick talking, and on the back end, you hear the breath.
Whatever,
Wow.
You can
sucking
hear.
helium.
You can
Say
hear.
that again. Play that again.
whatever,
Sounds deaf. Sounds blind.
Oh,
Whatever,
please.
you
just did that.
No, I'm trying to like. That's what you're listening for. The at the end.
whatever,
It's nothing.
It happened like 4 consecutive times.
Just let him live. Quite literally, let him live.
I wanted to ask you guys a question that I think is interesting as I see the Steelers, after 20 straight years of winning, one of the landmark franchises anywhere in American sports. It's weird to see them have Mike McCarthy as the coach, to see them not have any quarterbacking options that would excite anybody that aren't Aaron Rodgers, and to wonder if Aaron Rodgers is going back there. But not quite as weird as what I'm about to say, which is, could you guys have imagined a scenario where I tell you a guy who has won for 20 straight years, had winning seasons at the top of one of the most majestic franchises to be found anywhere in American sports, quits, vanishes without an explanation, never gets a goodbye or a press conference, and we still haven't heard from him? Like, no, does anyone not think that's weird? Like a real icon name in the sport says goodbye without ever saying goodbye. Nobody hears anything from him and just gone. Like, I can't off the top of my head have any recollection, and maybe you guys have an example of this, where that's not weird, where you're sitting there and we were talking about Giannis and his connection to Milwaukee. I'm sure Mike Tomlin has a relationship with that community. Does he have any responsibility to explain anything to anyone? Or does he have so much power that he can just vanish quietly and no one has any reaction to it even being weird? And I'm not even saying it critically. I'm just looking at it and saying, man, that's unusual.
I mean, power, the farewell press conference is a totally manufactured construct. He doesn't have to do it. It's not required by his contract. Most times when people leave organizations, they don't do that. Granted, we do get some ceremonial thing when it's a mutually beneficial relationship that spans over a decade and they've had success, but not all the time. I'll look up previous examples, but this is a man-made construct. It's not required.
You say that, but my starting point on this is, in the Jerry Jones documentary, one of the things that I learned in the 10 parts, one of the few in that sanitized documentary, is that after Tom Landry, a local icon who meant something to that community, was let go in somewhat of dishonorable disgrace because Jerry Jones was clumsy and brought in Jimmy Johnston, his exit was an actual parade. Tom Landry left, and they gave him a parade as a goodbye, as a thank you, as we love you, as we recognize that this relationship was a real one, and mostly it was thank you. I'm not even saying, I want to be clear on this, I'm not saying Tomlin deserves any criticism. I'm surprised that Tomlin doesn't want any of the outpouring, that Tomlin doesn't want any of the connection of this community really loved you and can give you a eulogy that you get to listen to while you're still alive to show you how loved you were, and that it wasn't just, hey, this is unacceptable that you win 9 or 10 games every season but don't get past the first round of the playoffs.
I don't even know how many of those I remember. I remember, like, John Elway's. I'm not sure Nick Saban had one.
Shula did, right?
I know locally the coach of the Miami Sharks had one, but then he announced that he was going to the new franchise in Albuquerque and that he had signed Willie Beeman. Everyone's like, whoa, how did you surprise us?
I mean, the Dolphins gave Dan Marino.
I'm sorry, that's another $5.
The Dolphins gave Pardon me.
That's another
If
fight.
I were,
He leaned back.
If I were breathing more through my large nostrils, I wouldn't have to clear my throat as much.
We heard you once in
The
that.
the Dolphins gave a stadium farewell to Dan Marino, and I think it's customary when you've been in one city for as long or as successfully as Mike Tomlin, you don't just disappear. I think this is almost unheard of. If you don't have the traditional press conference announcing the move, the guy takes out a full-page ad in the paper or says something on Instagram. There's some farewell. There's some sign that you meant something in this community, and here's why we're leaving. But this, he just disappeared.
Mike, Nick Saban did sit down with Reese Davis a couple of days afterward. There is an interview.
That's an exclusive, not a presser.
No, but there's an explanation
That
somewhere.
counts.
There's his voice. There's
That
his
counts.
voice somewhere on fans can grab onto something and be like, how does our icon feel after being gone after 20 years? I have a new report here from Mike Silver. You guys tell me what you do with this.
What do
The
you say?
Steelers organization is, quote, reasonably upbeat about the possibility of Aaron Rodgers coming back and playing another season. I have not,
Why?
but I have not seen before the phrasing from one of the insiders that an organization is not upbeat, reasonably upbeat. What does that reporting mean?
Is that cautiously optimistic?
No, it's better than that.
It's reasonably upbeat. Like, they shouldn't have a reason to, but they do.
I think the phrase should have been, the Steelers are sadly resigned to the fact of maybe having Aaron Rodgers again. Who would want that guy back? Move on. They should have signed Malik Willis. not the Dolphins.
McCarthy says that he'd like him back.
Want to get the band back together.
And there's nothing better available. Like I should say this. There's nothing available that's going to make the fan base more excited than Aaron Rodgers. I have that right? Like,
Are they going to be excited?
I didn't say excited, reasonably upbeat. I said more excited than Aaron Rodgers. What is the hopeful exercise that you can hypothesize outside of trading for players who aren't actually available to you in trade? What is the name that I could give you? You're a Steelers fan. You are tired of what you say is mediocrity that isn't actually mediocrity. It's 2 straight decades of never a losing season.
Yeah. I mean, they could have signed Malik Willis. They could have signed Joe Flacco. They could have
Flacco.
They could have gone in another direction.
Joe Flacco is mad that nobody thinks he's a starter. Joe Flacco at 41. Joe Flacco threw 450 yards in a game, but you just put Joe Flacco out there as someone you'd be more excited about if you were a Steeler fan than Aaron Rodgers?
As excited. I'm just saying, Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career, you're not excited about him. He's your one more season stopgap until you get a real quarterback for the future. That's all. I mean, and the coach saying, let's get the band back together, you have to say that publicly, just in case he is your quarterback.
But you don't actually have to say anything. Look at what Tomlin just proved. You don't have to say anything publicly.
Yeah, but if you're resigned to the fact that you are going to have Aaron Rodgers again, then you have to say that publicly.
If you're getting the band back together, let's just go full. Jordy Nelson.
Ooh, James Starks.
Ryan Grant.
Jeff Janis.
Oh, Donald Driver?
There you go. Jerome Bettis.
Fat
Not
number
playing the
80.
game right.
Coon.
You said Jerome Bettis?
You know what game we were playing?
No.
We should have said his first name, too.
Yeah, I was uncomfortable.
Hines Ward.
Jerome Bettis?
You're still playing it wrong, Greg.
Troy Polamalu.
Former Packers is what we're doing.
What are you doing?
It's guys who Rodgers played with, Greg.
What are you doing?
He's that old. He's played with all these guys.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Leba Jinx.
Ooh, there you go. Get it back.
Oh, he got me.
Greg's right about that.
He did get me. So getting back to that, because
Me and Joe Green.
Defense. It's a new game.
The curtain. Bring back the steel curtain.
Antoine Randall L.
Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw's got free time.
He's right about that.
Cordell Stewart.
Last time I looked. What's T-Brad doing?
Somehow he's still doing halftime highlights inexplicably. Stop making the poor man do this. Who's asking for this? Why? It was never a good thing.
Antoine Randall L.
Steve Martin.
Also.
Antonio Brown still Still looking for work. I could go on and on. George Pickens. I mean, former Steelers are out there, man.
Do you guys believe that anyone in the history, the 80-year history of Terry Bradshaw, has called him T-Brad before?
I liked it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Le'Veon Bell.
Nope. All right,
Charlie Batch.
They might be on the running game here. They're crowding the box.
They brought the safeties in.
A little play action.
Yeah.
Greg Lloyd.
I thought my dad burped when he said T-Brad.
No. T-Brad. Will that be on the countdown? No, and you know it.
You'd probably put the burps all together as one. Just
Yeah.
my burps. Brad.
Right. That'll be a suite of burps because there are 4 main
Right,
ones.
there's a few.
Right.
Could you explain them?
No.
There's
No,
yike!
no. Oh, you're giving away all my
Going
good
through
material.
the burps.
What?
There's Brad. There's yike.
Right.
And then there's
Sassafras.
ass wipe.
Yeah, sassafras. Anyway.
Sassafras not a burp. That's just a different saying.
Yeah, that's true. It's almost...
Sassafras is when he can't figure something out and he's just like, sassafras.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Not a burp at all.
Right.
Why'd you say sassafras?
I don't know.
20 more carries? You have heard for a while now Mike Ryan sort of yawn and say, hey, Boston Celtics, for all this talk of you are a winning franchise, this particular century, you have not done a lot of winning. Doc Rivers is living still off the championship he won when you had the greatest trio in the league. But the Celtics don't merely have 5 straight 50-win seasons and now 12 straight playoff seasons. They also have a front office that's been pretty aggressive the last few years and can be put in the class of the Spurs and Oklahoma City when you're talking about great architecture that's not afraid. Brad Stevens has made a crazy evolution. That town has been very lucky with its executives. Theo Epstein, very young, ends up winning titles with the Red Sox when he's uncommonly young. And Brad Stevens makes the journey from an unusual journey at his age from you could have been coaching all of this, but you decided to oversee it when you could be the beneficiary of everything that's happening here as the coach, but you wanted to be in the front office. And now Sam Amick is reporting they're interested in Giannis, and they are known to have interest and are seen in league circles as possible suitors. And that's someone that you would trade a Jaylen Brown for, and how much better are they going to do than a Jaylen Brown?
Do you think they would trade Jaylen Brown?
I wouldn't. He's had an incredible season.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they would. Giannis is 32.
Okay, so wait a minute. So how many players are there in the league? I was thinking that there might be 3 or 4 players in the league that you would not trade Giannis for, and Jaylen Brown was not one of them before this season. Now, you guys may have Jaylen. My information is a little bit old in that I was looking at a Jaylen Brown before Finals MVP, who the Heat were able to force to his left and make him dribble, and they ended up completely altering the way that his game was. But yes, I think Giannis is a better player than Jaylen Brown. Obviously, he's not younger than Jaylen Brown. But in order to make contracts work out, I don't think the Celtics could get – do I have this wrong?
You're probably right about that.
I don't think the Celtics could get Giannis for anything less than either Tatum or Jaylen Brown. And the question I'm asking you guys after that is, are the Bucks going to do any better than someone like Jaylen Brown if indeed the Celtics are interested in this?
No, if they put that on the table, that's an easy win for Milwaukee to get Jaylen Brown. Obviously, he comes with a $300 million price tag, and between him and Jason Tatum, you're talking about $600 million. But they can't have all 3. But if you're Milwaukee and you're looking at every package around the league and you're going, Jaylen Brown, who's completely, redone his career from the outset of he couldn't dribble left, and now he was an MVP candidate through the season. That's a big
and
get
a Finals MVP.
Boy, can you imagine the reward for Jaylen Brown having the best year of his career and getting Finals votes is being traded to a team that's rebuilding?
No.
That'd be wild.
Yeah,
right?
I don't see it happening.
I don't see it either.
Yeah,
that'd be wild.
I'd be curious if you pulled the NBA.
So wait. If they're suitors, how are you making these contracts match up so that Giannis could be with Jaylen Brown and Tatum? How are you doing that?
Really tough.
You'd be surrounding with minimums. I mean, their next highest contract is Derek White at $30 million. Vucevic comes off the books at $21 million right now.
That's why Dan's right.
Well, theoretically, you could include him in a sign-and trade as a piece of this. Then you have Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard along with draft picks. So that right there is how you would make all of the money work, but then you would just be surrounding literally with minimum contracts.
That's a poo-poo platter. But those players you just mentioned
But
for
if you
Giannis.
polled NBA teams, who would you rather have going from here on out, Jaylen Brown or Giannis?
I think it's
It's a 3-year age difference. Jaylen Brown's 29.
Guys, though, the thing that I'm doing, if you're making the Celtics suitors, I don't see how you can make them legitimate suitors where they'd go to the top of the list of getting a guy that everybody wants unless they give up one of those 2 players.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that, but why would they?
Well, then they're not suitors.
No, but it could be what Jeremy said, where Boston believes they could get Vucevic to do a sign and trade, and then Derek White and Vucevic does make the deal work.
That's where I fall. I'm sure it's something that they're talking about internally. How do we pair these 3 guys? Is there any kind of way? What can we put together that doesn't have Brown or Tatum in it, but a lot of teams are having a lot of discussions, a lot of pie in the sky scenarios, and that's what this one seems like right now.
And Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser are two good young players. Pritchard in particular, by the way, and their view would be more likely than not, well, we could do that again. The same way the Heat have viewed it as like, oh, we can take this undrafted player and turn him into a role player. They view Peyton Pritchard as like, we've turned this guy into a really, really productive player. And Milwaukee would probably look at it as like, look, you're getting Derek White, you're getting Peyton Pritchard, and a boatload of picks. It might be a package they would consider, but I don't see Boston dismantling what they have right now as they continually are a perennial contender in that conference.
Agreed. And also that'd be an example of Boston using their assets and using their development to go out and get more assets and not just let them walk out the door for free.
Or do you do it with Tatum?
You could.
I don't believe Derek Wright and Pritchard. They've got young pieces. They've got improved pieces. They have draft picks. They have some of the things that you need. You think that Pritchard, Derek White is enough to land you a Giannis?
No, but I don't doubt that they're talking about that, and they don't doubt that makes him a contender here. But with Tatum, the same question applies. You pull the NBA. Who would you rather have from here on out? Tatum or Giannis? I don't know if that goes Giannis's way.
I don't have it in front of me. I mean, I could find it, what Boston's draft pick treasure chest is, but it works in the trade machine. Antetokounmpo for Derek White, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard. That works.
Can't the Knicks or the Heat make a better offer than that?
Not the Knicks. They don't have any draft picks they could trade.
No first?
No.
They gave them all. They gave 5 of them up for Mikal Bridges.
But if he, you know how it works nowadays in the NBA. If Giannis wants to go to the Knicks, there's got to be a way to make it work.
No, because he did, and they haven't.
Most people would say, though, Derek White and Pritchard, that's better than Tyler Hero and Khalil Ware.
I think when we're talking about this, like, we have to take into consideration. I don't know that it is because Ware's such a project as a young player.
Derek White's
no,
good.
Derek
White's
White's
good,
a
but he's
great
also
player.
older.
Yeah, but come on.
Yes, and Pritchard is your young piece, and then you're getting however many first-round picks. I think that when we take all of it into consideration, we're doing the Giannis from scratch thing. And the reality is unless he's willing to guarantee he would sign an extension anywhere, Milwaukee has really shot themselves in the foot when it comes to dealing Giannis. They thought, we're going to get a much bigger package come the offseason. But if everyone knows he wants out and there's 1 year left on his deal, that is the situation that Greg is talking about, which the player actually has some semblance of control.
But you guys are making this about Giannis. I understand why you would do this. The more interesting part to me is Sam Amick reporting, and he's credible, that the Celtics aren't good with good enough. Like the idea that they are still sniffing around something like this after they did a couple of moves in Drew Holiday and Porzingis that made them a 65-win team. Those are accents because you've already built your team. If you add Giannis, you turn the Boston Celtics into a thing that shoots to the top of the sport in a way that's vastly more interesting than they already are as a tradition-rich franchise. If they do something like this, because I was surprised to read this report, it is aggressive when you're already plenty good enough. I believe I know that the rest of you saw that Tatum got hurt and then said to me, look, Dan, they were going to get knocked out by the Knicks there anyway. The last 2 seasons of Celtics basketball, when they're healthy, are championship good seasons when they're healthy. Like, they are good enough to beat OKC. We have not seen OKC tested by a team that's as formidable as the one that shoots threes. If you go to Giannis, you're suddenly doing something that's old school basketball, which is, of course, get the most talented guy, get the best player, figure it out after that. But the way they've been playing for several seasons is we win 65 games because we shoot 53s, and we're going to, in a 7-game series, make more of those than you are.
Not only that, they're living in an alternate timeline right now because this season for the Boston Celtics was not supposed to be where they are, right? Jason Tatum's out with an Achilles injury. We don't know when we're going to see him again. Jaylen Brown, is he going to be a number one guy? They struggled a little bit out the gate, and they've been a great team. That's been, byproduct of the coaching by Joe Mazzulla. We asked, is he a good coach? Is he not a good coach? I think this year proves he's a actually very good coach. But with that, they're looking around saying, wait a second, we thought we were going to be in the lottery this season, and we're one of the favorites in the Eastern Conference. And if everything goes the right way, like we could contend in the West in the NBA championship, completely changes what their timeline was for the next couple of years. Why not go get Giannis?
Am I somebody who is being silly when I say the Boston Celtics this year, to me, the most surprising team in the league?
I'd say Detroit. Detroit's been best in the East all season.
Yeah, but Detroit.
What's happened with Atlanta this season has been fascinating.
Both good choices, and you're both right. But Detroit was plenty good last season, and this is kind of how a young team improves. I thought the Celtics weren't going to be competitive this season. Never mind another 50-win season for them. They didn't have Tatum all season, and when they lost him in the playoffs last year, they immediately put down their sword. Like they got.
It was over. It was over.
Yeah. But they lost that last game of their season by 35 points when I thought that the difference between the Celtics and the rest of the league when they had Tatum, to me, I thought that just having Jaylen Brown and Derek Wright and all of those ancillary pieces, I thought that would be pretty good in the playoffs, and they immediately caved. But when they had a season together, how much better are the Celtics this year than you thought that they were going to be? How much better, for all that Atlanta and Detroit have improved, I believe most of the people listening to this thought that this was not going to be something that the Celtics were going to be able to overcome, the Tatum injury.
They're 54-25. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season, hey, the Celtics are going to be the number 2 seed and steamroll people, and Jason Tatum's going to come back from an Achilles injury in less than a year, have triple-doubles, have 30-point games, have games of 18 rebounds, I'd be like, there's no way. What did they do to keep themselves afloat? MVP season from Jaylen Brown that he's not going to get love
and
for.
Their point differential. They're slaughtering people. It's not just that they're winning.
That's the Celtics math, though. They hit threes, they're going to beat you by 30.
When they take the lead, that's what ends up happening. And the only other team that is close to as surprising is the Clippers, who started 6-21, and then Ty Lue said, my goal is for us to go 35-20 the rest of the way. They've gone 35-17 since. It's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, but the Clippers are where I would have slated them before the season in terms of number of wins.
Well, I don't know. You were a big Clippers guy last year, Dan.
Or more. This record might be disappointing given where I thought the Clippers were going to be. I still would put the Celtics in any conversation that we're having about most surprising teams. I wanted to get to a legitimate baseball fight, though, that we had last night. It's between Jorge Soler, it's the Angels, no longer of Anaheim, and the Braves.
They used to play in California.
Thank you. And Reynaldo Lopez. And one of the reasons, and this was a weird fight, okay? I don't know if you guys saw it, but Soler was thrown at early, didn't react. Then another high and in pitch, and because the reaction from Soler was so delayed, the cameras didn't even catch it initially. The announcers were just sort of yelling, oh, my God, here he comes, and there wasn't video accompaniment because it was an unexpected thing. But here's the reason that I know that Reynaldo Lopez, the person who had hit Jorge Soler, was totally terrified, and it's not the backpedaling. It's that he started throwing pitches with the baseball still in his right hand. Those start throwing punches, excuse me. He's throwing punches with his valuable hand, and I'm going to guess that if you hit somebody's skull with a baseball in your hand, it's going to do more damage to your hand than if the baseball weren't in your hand. That you could injure a pitching hand more with he never lets go of the baseball while throwing all of the punches.
It's a good move.
But it's because he's scared, correct? It's because the adrenaline of all this makes it, you got to get rid of it. You either throw the baseball at somebody, which I've seen done before, or you let it go because you want your pitching. You got to protect your pitching hand.
100%. And you have a propensity to keep stuff in your hand. That's why they told Michael when he shot the police captain in the Italian restaurant, let it go. right? Let it go, Michael. Don't walk out with the gun. Let it go.
How about Walt Weiss tackling Soler?
How old is Walt Weiss, the manager of the Braves? Because
original Marlin shortstop.
Thank you, Says. That is correct.
62 years old.
He's 62 years old, and he did indeed tackle Jorge Soler from behind.
I feel like he looks the same as he did when he played. He doesn't look that much older.
Secret to aging.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Does Walt Weiss at 62 look the same age as when he played? You're correct.
You said he tackled him from behind. That's not true. He dove
like from the side,
lowered the shoulder, and took him out by the legs. It was tremendous form.
He could have injured him. That would have been fun. And by the way, Lopez wanted nothing to do with that fight. He was back. It was like if I'm in the ring with Mike Tyson. That's how fast he was backpedaling from Soler.
Walt Weiss did tackle him from behind at the legs. I don't know why it is that you would feel the need to make that correction.
Because it's more impressive.
He did. It was an NFL style tackle. And I haven't actually seen a coach or a person of that age do exactly that since Jeff Van Gundy was hanging from the calf of Alonzo Mourning during a fight on the court.
This is better.
What do you mean this is better?
This is better. I mean, hanging on by somebody's calves or taking the guy down. Imagine if Jeff Van Gundy did a double leg takedown of Zoe. If he was Islam Makhachev.
So you're saying it is better in terms of tackling form and just general fighting ability.
Here's the question. You ask this guy, hey, are you proud of that picture right there? And you ask Jeff Van Gundy, hey, are you proud of that picture right there?
Well,
See
that
who's
part
the
is
answer
true.
That is true, but Alonzo Mourning is 6'10", and Jorge Soler is not, so that the optics of some of that. I've told you before that Jamal Mashburn, this is just such a funny detail from that fight, that given the size of Alonzo Mourning's calves, I don't know why Jamal Mashburn had this particular thought, but evidently Jamal Mashburn was like on his side and seeing a bunch of legs and everything everywhere. And from his vantage point, for some reason, when he saw Jeff Van Gundy attached to Alonzo Mourning's calf, he thought to himself in the middle of a fight, why is Jeff Van Gundy holding on to a horse? Like because of the size of Alonzo Mourning's calves, because he's 6'10". Jorge Soler, though, is pretty menacing, and when he got angry, he looked like he knew how to fight. Baseball fights don't usually look that way. Like they don't. It's a lot of scrum and stuff. But if someone had connected here, there would be suspensions.
He did connect.
I mean, connect in a way that knocked someone out. He did.
Okay.
Yes, he did connect with.
There will probably still be suspensions.
100%.
Do you think he gets suspended like more games than he would have because he did punch him with the baseball?
I think once you throw a punch, I don't think it matters whether the ball's in your hand. Like as far as the league is concerned.
But do you guys agree with me on the premise that it's more dangerous if you're a pitcher with your pitching hand to have the baseball while throwing the punches?
No,
than...
I think the kinetic energy of you hitting whatever it is, like it traps in the ball.
I feel like you could smash your finger though against the ball.
Yeah, I'm with Dan. I think it could.
But if you throw a punch bare hand, you could break your hand.
I mean,
I don't think you break your hand by holding a ball.
But brass knuckles are something that would administer more damage. But I guess let me ask the question another way. If you were entering a fight, any of you, and trying to maximize damage, would you hold the baseball or would you discard the baseball? If you were trying, you're in agreement with me that he's in a panic situation and has forgotten to drop the baseball, correct?
Right. I told Michael Corleone drop the gun.
Throwing the baseball at that point blank range, that's the worst. If he just
there are stories I have seen, and we can find video of. I think Juan Marichal famously did that once upon a time. Just threw it at a charging batter. But also there are stories of hitters throwing the bat. Like if you're in a fight, I'm surprised more guys don't bring the bat. I mean, you're already
probably because you could get arrested.
Yeah, but you're in a rage. Like that's not how rage works. Like once you're in the fight, like some of these things are happening with the emotion of the moment, and I would understand if somebody went out there with a bat or threw the baseball.
That.
Yeah, because I would understand that rage grabs somebody and they're not thinking correctly. That crimes of anger or passion sometimes have a lot of lack of logic in them.
Walt Weiss was basically tackling Derrick Henry.
He's a black belt.
Soler 6'3", 235.
Jeremy just told me Walt Weiss a black belt.
Taekwondo.
And that still shot he has over there. I mean, he's got The top of his
From
head
the front.
going straight from the front.
It's not from behind. He's not a coward, Dan. Right? Just head on.
Right in the groin.
Okay, you guys are looking at different things
Look,
than
man,
I
it's
saw.
right there.
No,
His
just
head is-
when I watched the video, I thought that Soler was tackled from behind in the scrum, so I got it wrong. My bad.
Yeah, that you can't do that. You guys are looking at Walt Weiss heroically. I'm looking at a manager who did something very dangerous. If he would have injured Jorge Soler, imagine how this conversation would be going. You can't tackle your own player. You have other players to do that, to get not to tackle him, but to get between him and Lopez. Walt Weiss shouldn't have done what he did.
Well, it wasn't his own player.
He should. All the more reason.
I can walk us through this if you guys want. You see here, we clearly have, there's his head, okay? And then there's the start of his belt.
Come on.
And then you see his head's going in this direction.
There you go.
And then, and then he gets right around there, and there's a lot of contact right there. Yep.
Speaking of the way that rage works, can you guys do me the favor, please, of getting the video of Medvedev losing his mind? Nobody does a temper tantrum the way that tennis does a temper tantrum, and this.
Why is that?
You've got a lot of babies. It's an individual sport. The frustration runs high, and sometimes because of the precision of the sport and the loneliness of the sport, people get very frustrated with themselves. And where do you put that frustration?
I feel like maybe it's because there's no manager or coach to scold you for your behavior.
Well, there are coaches, but it's not a team sport, and you are your own. There are coaches, right?
But he's in the stands, and you can't communicate with him, right?
You'll spend about 90% of your time practicing on a hard court conventionally, and then for a month and a half of the tennis season, they decide, hey, we're going to have you play on baking powder. And clay court season does some people a great deal of service, the most athletic of tennis players, and others it makes them melt down. And Daniil Medvedev is always good for a meltdown. Really bizarre season for Medvedev. It seemed like he was toast, and then he beat Alcaraz in Indian Wells, made it to the final against Sinner. Then he gets double bageled in the Miami Open, and here he is playing against Berrettini in Monte Carlo. Clay court season is underway. Double bagel, 6-0, 6-0, and Medvedev gives us a classic meltdown.
Now for Medvedev, and goodness me, the racket is thrown with real venom, and again, and again. It had been coming, everybody. Not again.
This is 5 times he has thrown a totally mangled racket. 6 times. It is just the tattered remains.
And now we don't litter.
Nope, gently puts it in a garbage can.
Yeah, well done. Well
That's
done.
unusable.
That's funny. That's the biggest loser since Gino Auriemma.
It's made funnier with the accent, though, describing it.
Yeah.
Goodness
I
me.
agree. Plus, break the racket the first time. If you're going to break a racket, you got to do it right.
All right, let's get my dad a racket.
You can't
No, Greg's
break
right
a
about
racket
that.
on the first time. It can't take 5. It can't take 5 of those. I could break a racket on the first time.
Let's watch.
We're gonna get you a racket.
You think you? Yes.
We're gonna get him a racket.
Yeah.
You cannot break it on the first time.
I mean, if it's a wooden racket, that goes without saying.
Just let me see if I
I
have
played
this.
with wood back in my day. I mean, I played with wooden
Hey, yo.
racket. Although there were a couple of times. No, I'm just kidding. Playing with wood. What a great name for a autobiography.
Let me again frame for you what Greg Cody is alleging. Medvedev is how tall? How tall is Medvedev? Because there are a lot of physics involved here in this particularly long person taking from the base of his feet to the end of his fingers the sling velocity rate to throw that racket on the ground, making it look like one of his ace serves. How tall is Medvedev?
6'6".
Okay, so you believe that Medvedev, who is doing this as passionately and as rage-filled as he can, 6 times he is throwing the racket down with the intent of trying to shatter it in pieces.
Right.
You believe that you, a 70-plus-year-old man, could have more force in your racket than a professional tennis player who is throwing this racket down 6 times and isn't able to make it totally splinter the way that you would like it splintered.
Right. And the weird thing is he practices racket throwing. I don't. But it's not just about power. It's about angle and geometrics. Okay? You gotta throw a racket the right way. And also, you can't literally throw a racket. You have to have your hand on that racket when it hits pavement. See, that's the key.
We are efforting to get a racket. Worst case scenario, we'll have one tomorrow. My dad is back in.
Well, worst case scenario, we could just get a baseball and have Greg punch Dan in the face once and then also hit him in the face with the baseball so we can learn if it hurts his hand more.
Let me watch Medvedev again here and just really absorb how ridiculous Greg Cody is being here when he says that he believes he can make a racket. Because he does break it, Greg. Like,
right, that is true. Are we talking about dent?
It's broken there.
Okay, twice. Okay.
3
so
times.
It took him 2 times to break it.
What actually means, like, when is it broken? Like, because it'll probably bend a little bit the first time.
It's broken when it's unusable.
Then you might break it the first time.
I think the first time it's pretty well toast.
I don't know.
The first time he threw it, yeah, it is. I mean, it's splintering. It's 6 of these, and the crowd is helping him with it.
But I don't think my dad could do this half as hard as him.
I love how daintily he puts the
I also love
in
between each moment of rage, he very calmly walks to the racket.
He's a showman.
I have somehow made the mistake, and this might have something to do with the fact that we've done 3 shows in 24 hours, and my judgment is impaired. It is now fully Wednesday, and I have not finalized our tournament to announce who it is that won our Looks Like tournament. So it was a very accurate depiction. I believe we all believe that this is a worthy winner. But first, let's get rid of the loser. UConn, a hearty and fun run from UConn, but this was eliminated from the tournament on the last day.
Adam Silver looks like a newly opened chapstick.
So that's the runner-up right there, and we crown officially our Looks Like champion, only I think the 7th in the history of the show. Congratulations to Michael Smith and Michigan.
Michael Smith looks like the high school teacher that motivates his students by sitting in a chair backwards.
It's a good champ.
Not up for dispute, correct? Everybody believed that was a worthy 1 seed, and not unlike Michigan, right? I mean, I believe that a whole lot of people would have said all season that Michigan was the best team in the sport. They lost to Duke. They lost to Wisconsin. They lost a game. Was it Wisconsin? They lost a game to Purdue. They lost very few games and by not very many points. I don't think anybody would dispute that Michigan is a worthy champion. But getting back to the conversation that we were having yesterday about North Carolina's hire and how curious of a hire it was, how surprising of a hire it was that North Carolina hired Michael Malone. When people say that North Carolina's job by hiring Michael Malone, it shows you that the blue blood has fallen. What do you guys make of the fact that they have paid Michael Malone something that makes him one of the highest paid coaches anywhere in the sport?
Or are you asking, is it desperation from UNC or desperation from Michael Malone?
Well, the way that some of this is being framed is they had to settle for Michael Malone because some of their best candidates aren't something that they wanted, but they're paying him as if he is the most coveted of candidates. And I don't know that they necessarily had to pay him that way in order to get him.
I think Nick Wright made incredible points. That the NBA, outside of Miami and San Antonio historically, it doesn't matter if you've won a championship. Look at Budenholzer. Like, they can you quickly. It's a lot like international soccer in that way. You've worn out your welcome, we'll move you out. Whereas if you're successful, doesn't matter if you're abrasive, if you rub players the wrong way. If you're successful in college basketball, you have job security. What happened to Michael Malone in the pros does not happen to him in college.
That's every pro sport now, isn't it?
I would say it's almost always been like that. I've remembered making the argument on behalf of I'd rather be Bobby Bowden than an NFL coach because I could stay somewhere for 15 or 20 years in a way you rarely can in the NFL. Do you guys remember? This is a fairly shocking thing to say. When Dave Wannstedt was the coach of the Miami Dolphins, there were reports that the University of Miami had offered him a 20-year job. That's not a contract anybody in the NFL is ever willing to give you. Rick Pitino is golden forever at St. John's now, but he didn't last in the pros. He was run out of the pros in New York and in Boston, even though he's clearly and obviously exceptional at what he does.
While college basketball recruiting is a bit of a grind, you have to be on top of recruits and do a whole bunch of stuff that you don't have to do in the pros. It's not like college football.
Isn't recruiting easier now, though, because of the money?
You have to sell people on your vision a little bit more and what kind of coach you are. And Michael Malone, compared to his contemporaries, can say, I won an NBA championship in the last 3 years. I'm pretty good at what I do. And the money's going to work out for North Carolina. They're not going to miss out typically on a person for money. And you only have to worry about a handful of recruits every year and occasionally dipping in the portal. Whereas in college football, you have a huge roster that literally takes up all of your free time. It's all encompassing. I do think that it's a little bit easier to be a college basketball head coach, especially one at North Carolina that has such a great system in place.
And Michael Malone's not just selling Michael Malone; he's selling the North Carolina brand and whatever their NIL treasure trove is. I mean, that's still a program. I mean, if you're any coach, the idea of lifting North Carolina back up, why wouldn't you covet that job? For me, that's one of the 5 best jobs in college basketball.
I will tell you why. Because for all the complaints that professional coaches have about load management and players that make too much money and don't care enough, they're not 17 years old and you don't have to deal with their families very much. Although sometimes you do. Like there is some funny shit Stan Van Gundy can tell you about Andre Drummond's mom when he's 20 years old being in the stands. You do have to deal with some of that, but it's chaos in college. Like what you're welcoming into your life in college. I really think that people underestimate all of these voices in college coaching who are telling you, hey, this job is shit now. I really hate working in college now. The reason that's happening is because the families involved around the money, nothing matters but money. Like this is a very strong contaminant when you bring into the college workplace, hey, we're going to give you less power and we're going to make it all about money. Whatever your skill set is, whatever you think is special about what you do in terms of leadership, development, none of that stuff matters. What matters is the uncle wants money. The mother wants money. The dad wants money. The brother wants money. Like this is a thing that I believe we're underestimating when the coaches are telling you themselves. UCLA just won the championship while their coach was saying how miserable she was about what the job has become.
Right.
Please listen to some of these voices. You don't hear this in the pros. The people who are the grinders in the pros that work the 20-hour days, they don't complain about what the job is. They love the job. It's the reason they can do it 20 hours a day.
Right, but as Nick Wright alluded to, your general manager, your director of basketball, somebody else other than the head coach is dealing with all the NIL and dad saying he wants more money. And also, if I'm Michael Malone, I'm thinking the ACC maybe isn't what it used to be. It's now the 3rd or 4th best basketball conference. I can go in there and turn around North Carolina.
But
I know, but right now,
Michael Malone knows what he's getting into. He's got coaching friends everywhere. He's been coaching for 30 years. And I don't think that we should just gloss over the choice that he made. Michael Malone would be hired in the NBA.
I don't know.
I don't know why you keep thinking that. He's a championship-winning coach.
Well, he wasn't last offseason.
There was like one job that Michael Malone would consider taking last year when the job cycle opened up. It was a bunch of rebuilding teams and the New York Knicks. He didn't get that job. Mike Brown could get fired this playoff season, and he'd be right back in that mix. Michael Malone would get hired again.
Okay, if I can, though, and I've told you this before, when it comes to Chris Bosh, I found him illuminating when he joined the Miami Heat and whatever his idea of it was and what people would say, well, you knew what you were getting into. Chris Bosh used to say, you do not know the size of the sacrifice you are actually making until you are making it. And when you say Mike Malone knows what he's getting into, no, he doesn't. Because I don't believe anybody who's coming from pro coaching, no matter how much they've talked to All of their coaches who tell them how dangerous this is know what it's like to sit in the office the first time you care about a kid and you've now got a problem in front of you you've never seen before in your history in management because whatever the business
deals with this in the NBA.
Contract disputes.
You don't think he deals
It's
with
closer
immature
now.
people in an NBA locker room? Like, look at how he lost his job.
College basketball is closer now than it ever has been to the NBA.
I don't think Michael Malone knows anything about what happens when a kid is having trouble in class. Whatever it is that has to do with where it is academics have to be respected. I don't think that Michael Malone knows how to run a $20 million payroll where he's responsible for the dollars.
Dan, we talk about that, but in these last 5-6 years of NIL, do we have kids being worried about class when they're making $700,000, $1 million, when AJ DeBance's making $7 million? You think he's worried about social studies or whatever it is that he's taking? Like, this has become so professionalized that, like, class is the last thing that they're worried about.
Yeah, but you guys say this has become so professionalized, and the understanding when you get into the pros is that the entire construct of it is ready for you to behave like a professional, and the ones who don't get weeded out. Here they transfer. Here, they're gone. They're not contracts. Like, you don't understand how little power Michael Malone's used to, how much power he's used to having comparatively to how little that he actually has now, when used to be that the college coach thought he had like real power over these kids.
They were a playoff team last year. Why did Michael Malone lose his job? Why did he lose his job? The players got sick of him. The players got him fired. That's not happening at North Carolina. He has way more power at North Carolina.
And you put together the Avengers year to year. Like, look at what Michigan just did. There's a bunch of transfers. Like, that's all he's going to do. He's going to get a group. There's going to be 2 or 3 guys that are first-round picks every single year. He builds around that. Any guys that want to stay, that he likes, they'll stay. If not, he won't offer him NIL deals. He'll go get a bunch of other guys because it's North Carolina and he's an NBA head coach.
Right. I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know if his bet is going to cash. But I do think what he is obviously telling us right now is whatever's happening in college basketball is more appealing to him than what he got in the NBA, which was, I reached the mountaintop, I coached the same way for 30 years, and the players that I won a championship with decided that I was too much of a hard ass, and they decided to push me out the door. I'll go to Chapel Hill where I'm running the show.
Yeah, and he thinks he can do what Illinois did, what Miami did, transform everything in 1 year. The portal door works both ways. He thinks he can be the winner of that.
Folks, listen up. It's Masters Week. the par 3 contest gets going today. And everything can turn in a moment at Augusta. One swing, one hole, and the entire leaderboard shifts. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top sportsbook for live betting, lets you react in real time. From the first tee to the final putt, and with same-game parlays, you can combine finishing positions with player props in one bet. New sportsbook customers, bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code Dan. That's code Dan to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.